that whole divine feminine energy in the episode is a powerful thing, right? Because it makes me think of you and
Mm,
how strong you are. The Wonder Woman. That's what D is. She's Wonder Woman, right? So she's probably gonna be slaying and slashing people in the future.
mm,
You feel me? So hey, to you, Miss Wonder Woman, let's get this thing started.
mm. Okay.
Look, tell us something that terrified you as a kid.
Mm. Man, y'all, as a kid, I used to be scared of the dark.
Mm,
Um,
that's deep.
and it's crazy because a lot of it is like programming too. It's not even real. It was my mother and her mother and her mother each had programmed us with fear of the dark. Even like my brothers and stuff like that. Like and their fear was that spirits, ghosts, all of those things existed in the dark. And so I inherited that fear. And and look, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I was a person that would have those what is it called? Sleep paralysis. Oh God, I would have sleep paralysis, y'all, often when I was a kid. And so that really added to the fear and the tales of the devil riding your back and things like that. So a fear of the dark is something that I really had, but I'm so grateful um, that through our relationship, babe, I've been able to, overcome so many fears by you as a reflection. Because y'all, a couple of years ago was when I first finally attacked this fear. Um, Dream always meditated in the dark. 4 o'clock in the morning, it's still dark outside. He'll go in the room and he'll just meditate in pitch black darkness. He would even take spiritual baths in pitch black darkness, like no candles, just darkness. And I would just be like, what the hell?
And that is
But
subconscious.
yeah, yeah, you would do that. And I think we had got put on to that book, The Unlimited Power of the Subconscious Mind.
Hmm.
We got put on to that book and I read it. And one of the things was um, the way that we conquer our fear is to do the very thing that we're afraid of. And so I would go into our meditation room at night, turn off all the lights, and I was just sitting there. And I would recognize and hear all the crazy thoughts that would come up. Oh shit, I can feel an energy, something in here with me. And all of those things like that. But when I realized that regardless, I had dominion over those energies, that's when it finally hit for me. And I was able to really release that and embrace the darkness external to me and the darkness that dwells within me. And um, so yeah, I think the major lesson in that whole question for me is to let the family know, like the way that you overcome your fear is to face it, is to do it, is to engage it. Um, and then when we do that, our perspective on that thing changes. Now the darkness for me is such a beautiful place um, to sit in. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because something be happening with your eyes in the darkness. And I'd be like, is this my eyes playing tricks on me or like what? Because if you sit in pitch black darkness, y'all, it's like the darkness can get darker and then it can lighten up,
Yeah.
or it can just darken up on one side of your eye and then lighten up, or it can darken up like this and then lighten up. So it's very intriguing. Um, and so I'm grateful for that. And I'm also grateful to that book by, I think his name is it Bynum? Um
Hmm.
Dark
Darkness.
Light Consciousness.
Yeah. One of them. Darkness visible. Dark light consciousness. Yeah.
Yeah, so those books. It's so important, to put yourself it was so important for me to put myself in that space and watch how my mind plays tricks on me. And hell y'all, my mom is probably still afraid of the dark. And I have to make sure that she's not like when our kids are with her, that she's not instilling that fear into them because she will say, Ooh, KJ don't like the dark. He is totally fine in the dark. We know because we're his parents and he sleeps in the dark. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? But
yeah.
you're, go ahead, babe.
Well, out of darkness comes light, and when you really stare into the void of the darkness, you do this long enough, you'll start to see these spirits communicate with you through this
Mm,
light code or through these little waves of frequency. And that's when you start to understand, like, oh shit, I gotta be in the dark to really get to the depths of the subconscious mind. Because when you are in this pitch black darkness, what's coming, what you're seeing with the two eyes is just what's inside of you and the outside in the inside. So then
mm-hmm,
your mind starts to uh take you into this imaginative state to where you
mm-hmm.
can see different stories come about. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like scrying, right? It's the
Right.
same kind of idea, but more so uh not seeing something evolve in the water or in a crystal or whatever, just looking inside of yourself, right? So you just, it's basically like closing your eyes, but expanding what's inside of you or what's inside of your subconscious mind. So it's thorough, and I would
So what was your fear growing up?
listen. I would highly recommend everybody sit in dark for an hour. Just sit in pitch dark. And I'm talking about pitch dark. You got to close
It gotta be pitch dark.
the door creaks and all that shit. All of it. Close the whole thing off. Any kind of windows and all of that just got to be pitch dark. What was my fear when I was
Ye-
growing up? Uh,
Yeah.
shit, I'm still afraid of midgets.